Good morning, everyone. This is G, and I'm back with another video today. So, three guesses what I'm going to be talking about today. Yep, the Mortal Kombat film that's supposed to be coming out next month. About right, I think it comes out April 16th. So, I happened to come across this article online. So I'm going to be hopefully very brief about this because according to Comic Book Gaming, right, and of course as always links are always in the description, so yeah, you can look for yourself and decide what is what and why is why. But according to this article, here is the official synopsis. Excuse me, I need some water. Here is the official synopsis for the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie, in case you missed it. MMA fighter Cole Young, accustomed to taking a beating for money, is unaware of his heritage, or why, and listen to this, Outworld's Emperor Shang Tsung has sent his best warrior, Sub-Zero, an otherworldly cryomancer, to hunt Cole down. Fearing for his family's safety, Cole goes in search of Sonya Blade at the direction of Jax, a special forces major who bears the same strange dragon marking Cole was born with. Soon, he finds himself at the temple of Lord Raiden, an elder god. An elder god and the protector of Earthrealm who grants sanctuary to those who bear the mark. Here, Cole trains with experienced warriors Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and rogue mercenary Kano as he prepares to stand with Earth's greatest champions against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. But will Cole be pushed hard enough to unlock his arcana, the immense power from within his soul, in time to save not only his family but to stop Outworld once and for all? Now, for those who are very familiar with Mortal Kombat lore, in particular the lore of the first three games, you're probably laughing your head off, whether overtly or more internally. Let me try to go over this again and explain, in particular for those who are not familiar with the game's lore, why this synopsis is a very bad fanfiction. First of all, again, as I stated in the other two videos, this Cole Young character is the lead character and the hero of the story. He's the protagonist character, and he should not be. The protagonist has been and always will be Liu Kang. Right? But it says here, Outworld's Emperor Shang Tsung. Shang has never been the Emperor of Outworld. That's usually Shao Kahn. Sometimes it's other characters who were introduced later in the series, such as the Dragon King and whatnot. And perhaps there are non-canonical endings where, Shang becomes Outworld's Emperor, right? But he's never in the games become Outworld's Emperor. He's usually at the right hand of the Emperor, such as Shang Tsung, and he usually serves as like the Grand Sorcerer, right? That's his role. He's the evil, shape-shifting sorcerer who will do and say anything to remain in the evil overlord's good graces. That's Shang's role. Even in Mortal Kombat 11, right, he's referred to as the sorcerer, a sorcerer. Nearly everybody calls him that. He's never once referred to as an emperor. He's never been the emperor of Outworld. Kotal Khan has been emperor of Outworld, and Kotal's a newer character, but he's been an emperor before Shang Tsung has. Shang is usually a high-ranking lackey for the emperor. One moment, please. So there's the first glaring change of continuity right there. Shang Tsung being an emperor. Right, and then it says he sent his best warrior, Sub-Zero, an otherworldly cryomancer to hunt Cole down. Well, here's the thing. Yes, the Sub-Zero line, it was basically added much later in the series in the 3D era, actually do originate in Outworld. And they come from a race of cryomancers who were eventually made to flee Outworld, but this was not known for the longest time. This was literally a reveal towards the end of the original timeline, and it was actually the I guess it was a current Sub Zero, the good guy Sub Zero, who made this discovery. The Sub Zero in this film is supposed to be the Sub Zero from Mortal Kombat 1, the one who eventually becomes the undead Spectre Noob Saibot. So, yeah, he wouldn't know at this time that he's descended from cryomancers. Plus, even though the Sub-Zero ninjas are descended from cryomancers, they've always been Earthrealm warriors. They have never fought for Outworld. They do not represent Outworld. They've always represented Earth, or in the case of Noob Saibot, once he dies, he represents the Netherrealm. But they have never represented Outworld or worked for Outworld. Right? So, and plus, Sub Zero, neither Sub Zero has ever worked for Shang Tsung. In fact, in the very first game, Sub Zero, Noob Saibot, is sent to kill Shang Tsung. He's sent to kill him. Right? So, again, that would never happen. The Sub Zeros don't work for Shang. They're usually sent to murder him. And then it says, fearing for his family's safety, Cole goes in search of Sonya Blade at the direction of Jax, a special forces major who bears the same strange dragon marking Cole was born with. Okay, why would Jax, an American soldier, have a dragon marking or any sort of association with dragons? That's usually saved for the Asian characters like Liu Kang. So why would Jax, American Special Forces guy, have this marking? It does not make any sense to me. Jax has never had an association in the games or the films or any of the lore with dragons. Jax's whole thing is literally that he's a strong black American man. At least until Mortal Kombat 11 where they made him woke. But that's a different story. But anyhow, more importantly, given that Jax is a major and he is the direct supervisor of Lieutenant Sonya Blade, why wouldn't he just take Cole to Sonya? Or why wouldn't he just call up Sonya, right, and be like, look, I have found this guy we've been looking for, whatever it is. He needs help, but we need to protect him. Get your butt here as soon as possible. Why wouldn't he do that? I mean, hell, he was literally introduced in Mortal Kombat 2 because he went to rescue Sonya and Kano. Because they literally became background characters in Mortal Kombat 2 because they couldn't fit them in the game, and they were using that game at the time to introduce new characters such as Kitana and Melina. So it just does not really uh, make sense to me in this particular instance. Why wouldn't he just go and just drag this Cole guy with him if he needs to go and contact Sonya? Jax is a very take charge individual. He would just go and drag this kid along with him. So why is he sending him in search of Sonya? Okay, so that's another thing. Now it says, soon he finds himself at the temple of Lord Raiden in Elder God and the Protector of Earthrealm. The Protector of Earthrealm thing is correct. Ever since Mortal Kombat 2, which was a retcon, believe it or not, because Raiden in the first game is evil. He's evil, and you know he's evil because when you play as him in the first game and you win, it talks about how he overpowers everybody and he basically tears down all of the rules so that all of the gods can participate and they destroy Earth. And the classic, this is how you always know in a 90s game if an ending is bad. They would always give you that very sarcastic, have a nice day, right, to just make you feel bad. See, you chose the wrong character and now Earth is gone, right? But in Mortal Kombat 2, they totally retconned this character and he became the protector of Earth that we all know him as. So the protector of Earth part is correct. That's what he's been ever since MK2. However, Raiden has never, and I mean never, been an Elder God, right? There are other characters and gods in the Mortal Kombat lore, such as Cetrion, such as Shinnok, such as Chronica, who outrank him. But he has never ever been a elder god. What he is a demigod and an elemental god. In particular, the Japanese god of thunder. That is what Raiden is. He's not an elder god. And also, why would Raiden, again, protector of Earth Realm, right? Not just a particular part of Earth, but the whole dang realm. Why would he only give sanctuary to people who bear this mysterious dragon mark that supposedly, at least at the moment, only Jax and Cole have? Why would Raiden do that? That doesn't make any sense. Raiden is not that type of person. Or god, I guess you could say. Demigod. But anyway, it says here, Cole trains with experienced warriors. Experienced warriors. Liu Kang, Kung Lao, and the rogue mercenary Kano, as he prepares to stand with Earth's greatest champions against the enemies of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. Here's the thing that this is just shading Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Liu Kang is not simply an experienced warrior. Liu Kang is the 4-time champion of Mortal Kombat. He is Earthrealm's hero and champion. He's the protagonist of the game. He is the hero of the story. He's the guy who gets to marry and have kids with Princess Kitana. So to disrespect him like this and just reduce him to experienced warrior, in my opinion, is just throwing so much shade at Liu and Kung Lao. I personally am a fan of the MK2, MK3 version of Kung Lao, where he was more or less like this Asian fantasy take on like Clint Eastwood, you know, the strong, silent type and covered in mystery. But here's the thing: Kung Lao, while a supporting character, is not just an experienced warrior. He's a member of the White Lotus, right? And he fights for Earthrealm, and he is the descendant of the great Kung Lao, who is the first person mentioned, I think, in the lore proper, who actually defeated Shang Tsung and prevented Earth from being invaded by Earthrealm in his day. That's why Shang got Goro. Because if I remember correctly, the way the story goes is that Kung Lao, the great Kung Lao, I should say, who back then in his time would have just been Kung Lao, but the great Kung Lao defeats Shang. I think Shang had been undefeated for like 500 years or something. He beats Shang, right? And that's why Shang ends up aging, because he loses the immortality clause that being the Mortal Kombat champion gives you. So he beats Shang, right? And then when the next Mortal Kombat tournament comes, right? Shang has an enforcer of sorts, and that is Goro, right? Goro and Kung Lao, the great Kung Lao, face off. Goro kills him. Goro kills him, and then Goro becomes the official champion of Mortal Kombat. And then Shang, because he's Shang, absorbs the great Kung Lao soul. This is why the current Kung Lao hates Shang, because he more or less cheated to win or to get back at the great Kung Lao. But both of these are characters who have been a long part of the lore. Again, one is the literal champion of Mortal Kombat, and one is the descendant of the previous Mortal Kombat champion. And you reduce them to experienced warriors. And the rogue mercenary Kano. Kano's a bit more than a rogue mercenary. Kano is a murderer and a thug. He's a no-goodnik. Unless they are trying to kill him, Liu and Kung Lao wouldn't have a thing to do with him. And even then, they would probably just capture him, drag him, bring him to Sonya, because, you know, Sonya's been chasing him all of her life, and let her do whatever she wants with him, which would probably be to kill him, because, again, Mortal Kombat. Mercy doesn't exactly exist here, right? But then it says here, but will Cole be pushed hard enough to unlock his arcana, the immense power from within his soul? in time to save not only his family but to stop Outworld once and for all. Okay, first of all, uh, this Arcana thing. Are we talking about animalities? Because we already did this in the second Mortal Kombat movie. We did this already. Okay, they already introduced that, which was a thing by the time MK3 came along, right? And that film, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which came out in '97, totally just ruined it, wrecked it. 7 Ways to Sunday. Excuse me. I'm reminded of a scene from the Annihilation movie where like Liu has to go find Nightwolf. He has to go find Nightwolf to learn to learn to how to feel his animality. But at least as cheesy and god awful as Annihilation was, at least it did make a bit of sense story wise that you would have to go to the painfully stereotypical Native American shaman to unlock literally your spirit animal. So I can kind of understand that. I don't like it per se, but I can at least understand that. But this whole okay, unlock the immense power from within your soul, but shouldn't they have already done that? That's kind of probably where their special moves come from. But anyway, so that's the synopsis of this film, right? As provided by comicbook.com, right? And all I gotta say is, man, oh my goodness. Look, I know some people are gonna get on me about this and be like, well, the original film wasn't super accurate. And fair enough, yes, there are changes to the original film. Raiden doesn't fight in the tournament. Kitana is in the movie when technically she wasn't even introduced in until Mortal Kombat 2, and she's unmasked in the film. And Scorpion and Sub Zero aren't trying to kill each other, so I'll give you that. Yeah, it was not completely in lockstep with the lore as it existed in 1995, which would have been 3 games, and the film mainly was focusing on the first game. But here's the thing: the original film, in my personal opinion, while maybe playing very fast and loose with the lore they were working with at the time, still, in my opinion, was respectful to the spirit of the games as they were at that time. For example, Johnny is a cocky actor. Hell, Johnny's in the film. And Lou is the hero of the story who needs to learn self confidence. Sonya is the hardened soldier who has to learn how to trust people. Right? The characterization made sense. And certain changes that they made, such as Raiden not being able to compete, they provided, in my opinion, very valid in story justification for it. For example, Raiden is a god, right? It's explained that he's an elemental god, he's a thunder god. But it's explained very early in the film, I think by more or less Raiden and Shang, that because Raiden is not mortal, right? He's a god, he's not mortal, and it's Mortal Kombat, he cannot compete. That is why he has to travel around, right, and find warriors to basically more or less fight for Earthrealm, because as a god he cannot compete. In fact, they maintained this in the god awful 1997 film, because there's a subplot, I guess you could say, where Raiden does give up his immortality to fight in Mortal Kombat, and then he gets killed, and then he gets resurrected because it's Mortal Kombat, right? It's the game where you kill where everyone kills everyone, but everybody still lives. Pretty much like Dragon Ball, but grittier. But they provided in-story reasons for the changes that they make. For example, Shang is young. Shang is not young in the first game. Well, here's the thing: as we see in the film, Shang's been stealing souls, and he steals souls to keep himself young. So the elements where they veered, they provided justification for. And in my opinion, the original film, as goofy as it may be, right, was true to the spirit of the series at that time. And it doesn't seem to me that this new film is going to be true to the spirit of the series. Again, as I did in the long video, the 40-some minute video, right? They have Scorpion and Sub-Zero fighting in the 1600s, right? And now these other additional changes. So to me, according to this synopsis, this is poorly written fan fiction, and although I forgot to include the image of the tweet because of course I did, but I did tweet at Mr. Gardner and tell him what I thought. Since he wants to hop up in my comment section, or rather my Twitter feed, I should say, and tell me what to mention, well, I'm going to mention that I tweeted at him and let him know that, hey, this, in my opinion, as provided by this article, is bad fan fiction. And as I've said several times now, Mortal Kombat deserves better. It deserves better than having an iconic character erased because of his skin color. It deserves better than to have its hero reduced to a background character who doesn't even get on the poster for the film, and now he's just referred to as an experienced warrior. So yeah, again, like I said, I'm skipping this movie. I'm not watching it. I was never going to watch it, but now I'm especially not watching it. Now, as I said in the last video, all I will ask of you, if you were ever a fan of Mortal Kombat, is to consider for yourself if this movie is worth your time, your money, any sort of an investment you could make into it. You need to decide for yourself if this is worth it to you. For me, it's not worth it. I'll just stick with 95 film. I'm perfectly happy there. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next one. And I promise that at some point I will actually cover something else than Mortal Kombat. But again, have a good day, everybody. It's a Friday, so happy Friday, and I'll see you around.